There. You know, when your child has been on a screen for a little while, for some of you that's 15 minutes, for some of you that's a couple hours, it doesn't matter what the amount of time is, and they just absolutely fall apart when you take them off the screen, that is totally normal. Because here's what's happening in their brain. And I really want to make this clear because it's going to affect what you do about it. Okay, so just stay with me for a second. When kids are on a screen, the child's brain is telling them that the screen is the most important thing in the world. And why is that happening? Because it's stimulating all the pleasure centers of the brain, right? Your child is getting a huge dopamine hit when they watch television or the iPad, whatever it is. That's a neurological phenomenon, okay? So their brains are like, oh, this is important. This is good. I want more of this, okay? So they're like locked in, right? And when we tell them that it's time to stop, and hopefully you have some limits around this, and hopefully you have a format for reminding your child at 5 more minutes, and then 2 more minutes, and then you're gonna go do something else, okay? So we can talk about sort of the wind up to the end in a different video, but don't be surprised when your child has a hard time disengaging from the screen. It's a neurological phenomenon. Their brain is telling them it's very important for them to keep watching. And they're not in control of that response necessarily. And here's the other piece, right? We know from brain research that the prefrontal cortex, that's the thinking part of your brain, it's right here in the front, is responsible for inhibition of behavior, sort of overriding your urges, all of that kind of stuff. That part of kids' brains, it's not going to develop fully until they're 26, which is like, ah! And it's continuing to develop over time, but it is nowhere near cooked, particularly not if your child is 4, 5, 6, okay? So it's automatic for them that their brain, when you separate them from the screen, is going to freak out. And when their brain is going to freak out, guess what? Their body's going to freak out too. So I'm hoping that by explaining this to you, you are going to be able to separate out, oh my God, my child is so upset, from, and make a distinction between thinking that and thinking, oh, their brain is telling them that it's really important for them to keep watching. I know that's not true, and I, with my adult brain, am going to help them with their child brain through this very challenging situation. It creates a different focus because when you are in control, when you realize that your child actually needs you to use your frontal lobe on their behalf, then you've got to stay really calm and be in charge, right? And then you're not going to be berating them for crying or thinking there's something wrong with you because your child is crying. It's just, there's no underlying deep phenomenon happening other than they were in a loop, craving a dopamine hit, and now you have disrupted their supply. It's a little bit like drugs, right? And they're pissed. They're going through withdrawal. It's okay. But you know, if you're able to think about it that way, then you're going to be able to stay calm and enforce the boundaries that you have created. If you're having trouble even starting with the boundaries, that's a different conversation, and we're happy to work through that with you if you need some help with that. But I just hope that sort of thinking about this in a little bit of a different way might help you the next time that your child has a meltdown after screen time. Until next time, take care.